Cloudy. And it's Cloudy, welcome back to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't check out the last video, make sure you go check it out. And also, if you ain't checked out my other channel, the Cloudy Watch Party, go check that out as well. Y'all don't want to miss no reaction videos over there. Also, y'all can put down all the considerations, you know, of channels and stuff y'all want me to react to over there. You feel me? But today, we got some more Marvel and DC type of content from the Cosmic Wonder. The huge plot twist coming in Avengers Doomsday that nobody is talking about.
Right now, Avengers Doomsday is pretty shrouded in mystery. Yes, we know that, of course, Robert Downey Jr. is returning as Dr. Doom, and he's going to be the main villain of this film. And I have seen some people actually questioning whether or not Doom will be the main villain of Doomsday, but it's Doomsday. Plus, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, said that we are going to have the Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Wakandans, and of course, the X-Men all come together to go up against the Thunderbolts, the Wakandans, and of course the X-Men all come together to
Bro, that's 4 subsets of people, bro. That's like 4 different generations of people, bro. That all got some type of power, or fought people that had powers, or you know? That's a lot of people Dr. Doom gotta fight, bro. And if he's not the main villain, who would the main villain be in the Avengers Doomsday movie?
Go up against Dr. Doom. And while we've had a lot of leaks and a lot of things do make sense, there has been one thing missing from everything that everybody's been talking about. In fact, I haven't even really heard this plot point brought up in any of the plot leaks. And in fact, as it stands right now, there is a lot of mystery surrounding these characters that this plot will focus on. And that is Doctor Strange and Clea. There hasn't been much mentioned about Doctor Strange so far. At one point in time, the actor who plays Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, said that he wasn't going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Then the whole internet freaked out. Although, since they had a Doctor Strange 3 planned, we kind of just assumed that we'd get a Doctor Strange 3 after Doomsday, but before Secret Wars. However,
see, I always thought Doctor Strange would probably come out just like how the Spider-Man 4 movie is being made during the same time Avengers Doomsday is happening, you know, like it's happening all at the same time. It's just they in different parts of the world or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking Doctor Strange's movie is gonna be during the Avengers Doomsday. It's just gonna show him going to stop the incursions and stuff like that with Clea, whatever her name is. That's what I'm thinking. You know, I don't see no reason for them to do things after, unless the incursions start happening after the huge fight. Then that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? I forgot exactly what the incursions are. We finna find out. What are incursions in Marvel? An incursion occurs when the boundary between 2 universes erodes and they collide, destroying one or both entirely. See, I'm thinking that's how Battleworld is gonna come to, is by this happening. So I would think this will happen a little bit before Avengers Doomsday or during Avengers Doomsday. You know what I mean?
He then came out in another interview and said that he misspoke and that he is going to be in Avengers Doomsday. And since we haven't heard anything about Doctor Strange 3, we can assume that what happened at the end of Doctor Strange 2 in the post-credit scene with Clea will happen in Avengers Doomsday. They'll pick up that story. But what does that mean for the overall plot of Doomsday? Well, if we're taking a page from the comics, and if we're taking a page from that we're building the leaked concept art by a Marvel Studios artist that accidentally got out, it looks like we might actually be leading to Doctor Strange joining Dr. Doom. One thing that we've been hearing from insiders is that Dr. Doom doesn't believe that he is the villain in this movie. He believes that he is trying to save the multiverse. Just like Thanos thought that he...
I've been hearing that Doctor Strange actually knew that Dr. Doom was going to steal Tony's face, or Dr. Doom was Tony, you know? Because you remember when he looked over the possibilities and all that stuff? Who's to say bro didn't see all of this happening when he was doing that? Who's to say he didn't see a lot more than what he thought he was going to see? You know, he actually ended up seeing future events like a lot further than he wanted to. And he saw all this happening. That's why I say that's why I'm like, bro, Doctor Strange got to be a huge part of this as well, because he's the sorcerer in this. You know what I'm saying? He's the one who can actually stop time and all that stuff, you know? So I will feel like he is a very important character in the story. It's just, how would he be important to Doctor Doom and all that shit? But if he joins Doctor Doom, would that mean Doctor Strange is bad, or do you think it's going to be Like, what would be the reason? You know, what would Doctor Strange's reason be for joining Doctor Doom, bro?
He was right, trying to save the
It's so
universe
weird
in
seeing
his
names
really
that's
weird
like
way. Just double the
right back
resources,
into
bro. That's all you had to do. But it's a little bit more complicated when it comes to Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange. And side note, I actually think that there are going to be a few characters who think that Doctor Strange really is indeed not bad, but good, and that he is indeed trying to save the multiverse. But here's where Doctor Strange comes into play. He did quite a bit of multiverse jumping in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and as we learned from Reed Richards in the Earth 838 universe right before he turned into spaghetti, is that even just simply one person from one universe being in another one confuses and destabilizes that one universe. You don't actually have to do anything, simply you being there confuses and destabilizes the universe. However, Doctor Strange did some stuff in 838 and other universes as well, and in the post-credit scene, Clea shows up, who is his wife in the comics, and she tells him that he himself specifically caused an incursion, and they're gonna go fix it. So Doctor Strange's journey is about to be all about incursions, and that's what we're getting into with Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So I think it's going to kind of happen like the comics in the Time Runs Out story. Doctor Doom is going throughout the multiverse, cool and originally, maybe not.
I wonder if they're gonna show us, like, during this movie, show us like what all the other Doctor Strangers were doing, you know, because I'm pretty sure they all were kind of like, either they all saw these type of, like, they all looked to the future to see what kind of bad things were going to happen, and they try to stop them, you know, like, I'm pretty sure they all try to do something like that, or they all mess with the multiverse in some type of way. So I wonder if they're going to show us all the other Doctor Strangers from the multiverse, like from the other Earths, like show us a little bit of their life or what they're doing, or possibly the Doctor Strange from our universe meeting those Doctor Strangers. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if that's going to happen, bro. I wonder if there's more than just that other Doctor Strange.
Meet him in Avengers Doomsday for the first time, but I'm sure they'll give us a flashback and backstory about what he's been doing. So originally, maybe Doom was going about trying to save the multiverse, just like he was doing in the comics. Him and Molecule Man go around the multiverse, universe to universe to universe, killing Molecule Man, because Molecule Man is a bomb. He is exactly the same in every single universe, designed by the Beyonders to explode and destroy the entire multiverse. So to stop that from happening, Doom and Molecule Man go across the multiverse and try to kill them before the Beyonders can make them explode. However, eventually, they realize that they can't do it. There's too many and there's not enough time. And this is kind of where Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange team up. Doctor Doom.
So the bad guys for real is the Beyonders then. That's who everybody need to be squadding up against, is the Beyonders. So, okay, so maybe that's why Doctor Strange joined Doctor Doom. Maybe they both trying to take out the Beyonders, not, you know, the Avengers and stuff. Maybe they like, bro, me and you are like the most powerful sorcerers, bro. We need to team up and take these niggas out, bro, before they take us out. Facts. And that's what I think probably would happen, bro. That's probably how they linked up.
To the Beyonders. And we're going to pause right here and bring it back to the MCU real quick, because I think this exact moment in the comics is going to be brought to the big screen, and this will be a big moment for Strange and Doom.
Who's going to be the Beyonder?
Don't you
I'm thinking the Beyonder going to be
better gaming PC that's built with the right hardware at a fair price? Build Redux has that.
When we pick up with Doctor Strange's story, he'll start to learn more about incursions. And I think he's going to start to realize that not only his world, Earth 616, is in jeopardy, but the entire multiverse as a whole is in jeopardy. But here's the thing. In the comics, when an incursion happens, it's kind of like a domino effect. And I think that might be what they're going with here. Kind of a once it's in motion, it can't be stopped type of thing. So when Doctor Strange realizes that his universe and really every universe in the multiverse is at jeopardy, he's clearly going to want to go about trying to save the multiverse somehow. Clearly, Clea has some type of knowledge about the multiverse and incursions. In fact, she's able to multiverse travel. She did that to get to Doctor Strange, then opened up a portal. It looked like the Dark Dimension, but we're unsure. But clearly she has some knowledge. So with her and Strange, they might be able to look into some things, but this is where I think we get back to the comic moment. I think, much like Doom, Strange will realize that there is nothing they can really do to save the multiverse. It's all going to be destroyed. Incursions are going to happen. And that begs the question, question, what can you really do? Well, in the comics, that is what they realize. And Dr. Doom says to Strange, isn't it worth saving something? Even if it's just one thing, isn't one thing better than the entire multiverse being destroyed? And that's where Doctor Strange agrees, and that's when he attacks the Beyonders. And ultimately, he gets the power of the Beyonders, becomes God Emperor Doom, creates Battleworld, and rules over it with Doctor Strange as his right-hand man by his side.
If that's the case, then bro, so is all this gonna happen in Avengers Doomsday, or is Doctor Strange 3 gonna come out before Avengers Doomsday now, bro? Because this is sounding like Doctor Strange 3 story should be told first before Avengers Doomsday come out, bro. That's what it sounded like to me. Unless they planning on putting all of this inside of Avengers Doomsday. Like I said, this movie is most likely gonna be 3+ hours long, bro. So they could possibly fit all of that in the beginning of the story, you know? Is that what they plan on doing? Or are they going to bring out Doctor Strange 3 before Avengers Doomsday? Which means things might be delayed again, bro. So what we doing, Marvel? What we doing?
Sheriff Strange. And to top it all off, the only people who remember their lives before Battleworld are Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, and Molecule Man. The only thing about the MCU right now is we don't have a Molecule Man. And yes, they could introduce him. However, some leaks that we've heard is that Doctor Doom wants Franklin Richards. And I have theorized before that he could actually be the MCU.
This baby is something, bro. Galactus wanted him. The Silver Surfer wanted him for Galactus. And now Doctor Doom want him. Bro is in danger. Bro is only like 1 year old and he already got ops.
Replacement of Molecule Man, because one leak told us that Franklin is going to have the power to essentially be able to control molecules and alter them. We've heard one plot leak that Doctor Strange wants Franklin Richards so he can bring back the Scarlet Witch, because she is the all-powerful being that he needs. But even despite all of that, I still think this ends at Loki, because that's what a lot of insiders have been saying, and it makes logical sense. Loki is holding the multiverse together right now. And for most people, most of the Avengers in Earth 616, and really just everybody in Earth 616, they view Loki as a villain. He is the person who attacked New York in the first Avengers film. He is a super terrifying villain to most of the people on Earth 616, but specifically, Doctor Strange thinks he's a villain as well. So much so that we found out in Thor Ragnarok that Doctor Strange kept a list of people who were threats to his reality, and that Loki was on that list. And the minute he stepped foot on Earth with Thor, Doctor Strange immediately trapped Loki in an infinite fall type of thing, which tells us Doctor Strange thinks Loki is a massive threat. And nobody, not even Thor, has seen this new Loki that we've seen in Loki Season 1 and Loki Season 2, because he is a variant. So he is not the same one that...
That kind of begs the question, like, because bro was talking about Doctor Doom might not be the main villain. Is Loki gonna be a villain, bro, in this movie? Because that would be crazy. Like I said, bro has to have more powers now because of what he is now. Like what his job, what his position is. You know what I mean? He has to have a lot more powers added on to the powers he already had. You know what I'm saying? He was already a type of dude who was evil because he felt really powerful. So now that he got more powers, who's to say he wouldn't go back to that same old him because he's more powerful? And then when he meet Dr. Doom, he like, bro, we can't be him. I might as well join him.
In Avengers Infinity War. So even Thor himself might be kind of weary of Loki handling the entire multiverse. So I think Doom is going to probably talk to Doctor Strange about Loki. And Doom probably will portray Loki as the threat. And since Strange already thinks of Loki as a threat as well, he's probably going to go along with Doom. However, here's where the big battle comes into play. We know that all of the other hero groups are going to fight against Doom. We've heard that Doom is actually going to fight the X-Men using some Sentinels. Then he's going to fight in Wakanda, and of course he'll fight the Avengers, and ultimately they'll all come together to go up against Doom. Doctor Strange probably hasn't met up with any of the Avengers or any of the other teams, at least not early on.
Bro, I'm sitting here thinking this is real. Bro, this is Fortnite. Bro, I'm looking like, bro, I was like, is that a banana? Bro, I was really finna be like, bro, I got some good tree, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
In the Avengers film. Ultimately, I do think he will finally meet up with the other teams and they'll tell him, hey, Doom is the bad guy. He's trying to destroy us all. But by the time we get to that part, it might be made pretty clear to Doctor Strange that there isn't actually a way to save the entire multiverse. And by Doom kind of getting godlike powers, be that via Franklin Richards, the Scarlet Witch, or him taking the powers of Loki, like in the comics, Strange might realize that is the only way they could save anything. And I imagine it's going to be somewhat of a mirror of the ending of Avengers Infinity War. He went forward in time, saw all of the different scenarios play out.
I really believe Dr. Doom been here this whole entire time, like he just been watching things that's been going on. And I feel like Doctor Strange, when he went to go, he probably even saw Dr. Doom watching. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like Doctor Strange know a lot more than what he led on, you know?
In which he only saw one time that they won. And sadly, the way that they had to win was half of them getting snapped and then ultimately returning, and then Tony Stark sacrificing himself and Natasha Romanoff. This seems to be sort of the same situation. In order to eventually restore the multiverse, one thing has to remain. The multiverse is going to be destroyed no matter what. They cannot stop that. So Strange knows, okay, we have to save one thing, and from there, we could figure out how to restore the multiverse. The answer I think Marvel is setting up very obviously is Franklin Richards, especially since in the comics, after Secret Wars, he is the one who restores the multiverse by creating universes. So I don't think Doctor Strange is going to actually have that.
Bro, to be that strong, bro, is crazy to me. Bro, you could create universes, bro. Like, Franklin is a god, bro. Like, he is, bro. I mean, bro, if you could create universes, bro, he can create people. You know, that's what bro, if you can create universes but not people, that's weird.
I'm thinking with all of the other hero teams. I actually think he's going to have more interactions with Doom than he does anybody else. And I think they're going to take a page from the comics and they're going to have Doctor Strange kind of team up with Doom because he realizes that there's only really one way. Again, like he said in Infinity War, there was only one way. So now only one way to save the entire multiverse by letting it get destroyed, but letting Doom save pieces of all of the multiverse, putting them into one world, and then eventually restoring the universes. It seems like a thing that the Russo brothers would do, and I haven't really heard many people talk about this, but I think it's going to be an insanely big plot point in Avengers Doomsday. But go ahead, let me know.
What y'all think? Y'all think Dr. Doom might be right, though, that that's the only way to save the world? You know what I'm saying? Like, or do y'all think they can actually save it without destroying everything first? You know? Because I don't know, bro. When you think about it, you got to think about everything that's been going on, bro. There's a celestial that's halfway inside of the planet, bro. They got to get rid of that somehow. You know what I mean? And maybe the only way to do that is to blow it up. You know, I'm just being honest. So, bro, that might honestly be the only way. That might honestly be the only way. Y'all let me know in the comments, bro. If y'all think there's another way to save it, let it be known in the comments, bro.